In his confession of faith, he affirms that the term homoousios represents Gnostic doctrine, and he ultimately declares that he and his friends, quote, are not prepared to affirm that the Son is homoousios with the Father. Ultimately, Arius refers to the definition homoousios as if it were something widely known to be inappropriate or alien to the Catholic faith. And this seems correct, because the use of homoousios to describe God and Jesus had reportedly already been banned by the earlier Council of Antioch in 268. The Catholic Encyclopedia, in fact, states that, quote, it must be regarded as certain that the Council rejected the term homoousios, end quote. And as Bishop Hansen notes, this fact ultimately caused considerable embarrassment to those theologians who wanted to defend its inclusion in an official doctrinal statement at Nicaea. And all this indicates that the definition was not well established among the Catholics and was even seen as foreign and alien to the Orthodox faith. And as we will now see, homoousios had been, it is true, largely the property of the Gnostics, the Hermeticists, and the pagans. In his landmark investigation, scholar Christopher Stead cataloged every pre-Nicene occurrence of the word. We don't have time to go through each of these instances, of course, but I'm including this here to demonstrate what virtually all scholars agree upon. And that is the fact that the first people to use the word homoousios in a theological context were Gnostics. There was no usage of the word before the Gnostics, and in fact, scholar Pierre Franco Beatrice, in his own landmark study, confirms that the Christian Gnostics were in fact the very first to introduce this term into the wider Christian world. But what did this term originally mean to the early Gnostics? In these circles, the term was first used to describe two or more different beings who are compounded of kindred substance, and it was used alongside notions of emanation. Stead reveals that in the majority of the earliest cases, the notion of ousia, substance, that is implied, is either material or it's conceived in physical terms. It thus means roughly made of the same kind of stuff. Stead also concludes that, quote, when homoousios first appears, it is not used to express the Christian theology of the Trinity, but goes back to pre-Christian times. So, if this is true, then where did the Christian Gnostics first learn to use the term? Beatrice explains that the Christian Gnostics had first drawn the word directly from Hermetic sources, that is, from Egyptian pagan Gnostic sources. The earliest use of the word in extant literature is, in fact, found in the important Hermetic tractate Poimandres, which dates to the 1st century CE at the latest. In this pagan text, the word is used to define the relationship between a monotheistic God, God the Father, and his emanated Logos, who is cast as a second God, Oduros Theos, a second God, and this entity is called the Son of God. Now, we won't read through all of these quotations here, but ultimately, what you need to understand is that here in this pagan Gnostic document, we have God the Father, who is homoousios with the Logos, his Son. And surprisingly, we already have here the language of Nicaea, in which God and his Son, the Logos, are homoousios.